Another thing that I never really got, I never really understood, really, was why people talk about people behind their back. And then people always tell them to their face, hey, you look like a retarded person. Like, saying stuff behind someone's back because you're not brave enough to say it to their face. Which is the case all the time. I don't care what anyone else tells you. Like, what are you doing? Like, do you think it makes you cool? I mean, people post bulletins about people on MySpace, and I'm like, do you think it makes you cool? Like, ooh, I posted something about someone on MySpace, but I totally won't say anything to their face. What are you doing? What's your problem? And then, like, talking about someone behind their back, like, it's just so stupid. I mean, what are you doing? I'm serious. Like, whenever I hear someone talking about someone behind their back, I really will actually say something to them. I'll be like, why won't you just say this to this person's face? And then they're like, oh my god, I totally did! And I was like, on MySpace, right? And they were like, yeah? And I was like, well, that doesn't even count, okay? I've said something to people's face before, and it makes it about 72 times funnier. I'm serious. It makes it so much funnier. It's one word. Hello. It just makes it so much funnier because you get to see the reaction, and most of the time it's someone who talks about you behind your back. So they don't have any guts to say anything back. Like, the other day, this girl who doesn't like me named Holly, I bought her a rose for homecoming rose day just because I was feeling like a big asshole. So I bought her a rose, and I told her, she was sitting about 3 feet away from me, 3 or 5 feet away from me, on a bench with her friend Brianna, who doesn't like me either. And it was me, my friend Gretchen, and a few of my friends. We have this little hippie circle. And I told her, I was like, hey, Holly. And it took her a few seconds to realize I was talking to her, or either that, or she was trying to ignore me, realizing that I wouldn't give up. I told her, I was like, I bought you a rose. Baby girl, I love you. And she seriously looked dumbfounded for a minute. She was just sitting there like, and then she started calling me fat. And honestly, people, I'm fat. Doesn't bother me. People have been calling me fat my whole entire life. It seriously doesn't even have any effect on me anymore. But, seriously, that's all she kept doing. She kept calling me fat. She was like, oh my god, other than the fact that we can totally fit our bodies into your ass cheek. And I'm like, seriously? And even my friend Amanda noticed. She said, is that seriously all you're going to say? So, after that they didn't say anything because they honestly wouldn't say anything because they're big pansy asses. God, pansy. I don't know. So, if you say something to someone's face, chances are they're not going to say anything back. Unless they're one of those ghetto chicks like, yo, you saying shit in my face, girl, come up here right now, I'll kill you, girl. Then you might want to run and hide if you aren't a good fighter. It just makes it a lot better. And you know what makes them really mad? If you buy them a homecoming rose. Because that'll probably be the only rose they get. Honestly. I already know how many roses I'm getting for homecoming. A lot more than they are. I have people sending me roses. And then, of course, I have my parents sending me roses because my mom loves me a lot. And then, of course, I have my boyfriend sending me roses. So, 1 rose to, like, 57 roses. Greater, less than, greater, less than. See, because when you're fat, everything is fatter. Like your rose consumption. Fatter. Thinner, 1 rose. Fatter, 57. 57-1. 57 is greater. And, like, the amount of friends I have on MySpace. 118 or 2,000. I actually don't know how many friends I have on MySpace. I don't really check. But it's definitely more than 118. I think I got that many in the first night that I had my MySpace. So, honestly, moral of the story is say something to someone's face and buy them a homecoming rose. It pisses them off and they get suspended. No, just kidding. But they actually did get suspended for walking off school property with this guy named Bill. But whatever. And they post forums about you on your school's topic board, which I never really found, but what I heard. Once again, they'll say stuff about me on MySpace, but not in person. Half of the things they've called me on MySpace, they've never called me in person. Like, they could have called me all the words they called me on MySpace, and I probably would have decked them. But, you know, they didn't. Because I was only, like, 5 feet away from them. I would have. They call me, you know, nigger, cunt, all that shit on MySpace. But in real life, all they call me is fat. So, I'm kind of ranting, so I'm just gonna stop.